Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Um, yeah, let's get started. So the topic of today's discussion is what's new in Vancouver for PSDS. And I am Kai Amory, outbound product manager for public sector digital services. So yeah, just so excited to be chatting with all of you today. So let's just get into it. So before we get started, I wanted to flash this safe harbor notice for all of you. So just understand that this presentation may contain forward-looking statements, but please do not base any purchasing um, and implementation decision based on them. Okay. So next, join us at future webinars and 360 exchanges. So this webinar today is part of the Live on ServiceNow series, which is all designed to help you deploy faster and achieve value for customers even more quickly. So you can see here on the screen that there is a QR code. So I encourage you to use that to see the broader schedule and to join as many events as you can to accelerate your learning. Alrighty, just a bit of housekeeping. We have saved time at the end of this webinar for Q&A. So please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen as questions come up for you. Next, the presentation will be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community so that those who are not on this call can also enjoy all of the great information here. And then after this event, you will be prompted to fill out a short survey. Please do. We appreciate your feedback. All righty. So as you can see, um, we have two key folks you need to know. So I'm Kai Amory. As I mentioned, I'm the outbound product manager for public sector digital services, really leading our go-to-market efforts. I also have my colleague Ryan on the call. I'll let him quickly introduce himself.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kai. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ryan Griffin. I am an inbound product manager here at ServiceNow. I'm Kai's partner on public sector digital services, and I predominantly work with our engineering team to bring a lot of the concepts that you're about to see here from initial idea through to actual fruition to bring them to life. So great to be here, and I think you're in store for a great webinar today.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. So I will be speaking through the slides today, and then when we transition to Q&A, Ryan will be leading that. And with that, let's talk through the agenda. So I'll cover our product strategy, go through an overview of our product, highlight some demos for all of you. Then we'll transition into what's new in Vancouver and then wrap up with some next steps. So that is where we're headed for today. So our product strategy. Our product strategy is grounded in conversations with customers like you, where we've learned that humans are still doing the heavy lifting to serve the customer. So while their initial interaction might be seamless, it might be modern, where a constituent has multiple opportunities to engage with a tier one agent, we realize that it gets kind of messy and difficult in the middle and back office. So when it's time for that tier one agent to route the request, internally, they're often having to go over to a colleague's desk and walk over. They're having to send an email or pick up a phone call. What we're seeing here is that humans are left to fill in the gaps that are being left by legacy systems and commercial off-the-shelf solutions. And so a process that could have been done in a day becomes a days and weeks long affair. And this serves to frustrate the constituent and to lower their trust and satisfaction in their government. And while this is a pretty big problem, it is one that ServiceNow is uniquely positioned to solve. ServiceNow intelligently orchestrates and automates work to deliver services faster. Think of ServiceNow as a digital assembly line, simplifying, digitizing, and automating work from end to end. This provides the middle, front, and back office the transparency they need to do their jobs, as well as letting them come together to solve a customer's request quickly. And when customers' requests are solved quickly and consistently, they have a much higher level of satisfaction in their government. As we build for the public sector, we're leveraging all of the great capabilities from the Now platform and the CIWF horizontal foundation, and then layering on top of that content and capabilities that are specific to public sector. And we've brought all this together in our newly created industry product, Public Sector Digital Services. So this was launched back in March of 2022 to serve as a digital platform to modernize and speed up the delivery of government services. So this comes with a packaged government data model foundation to support agencies, businesses, and constituents all on a single platform. There's omni-channel experiences so that constituents can engage with their government in the way that works best for them. There's a configurable workspace for agents so that it's very easy for them to serve constituents. There's dashboards and reports for managers so that they can understand the current state of their organization and initiate service improvements. And finally, we have packaged workflows. So those could be simple workflows such as constituent registration or business registration to more complex workflows like the ones that we've developed for 311 requests and for public record requests. Just quickly flashing here for all of you, our product evolution. We started off really focused on building a solid data model foundation. And from there, we have branched off to build out applications for specific government use cases. So we have the service request playbook. That was our first packaged application. We followed up with the information request playbook. And then our most recent one is the license and permit playbook. And I'll dive more deeply into all of these in the following slides. So in the first half of 2022, we did quite a few different things. So we built out a data model foundation for constituent services. We then built out a configurable workspace for agents, as well as a nice consumer grade portal for constituents. For government managers, we built out reports and dashboards. We built out workflows that make it really easy to deliver government experiences, and then also some conversational chatbot experiences with virtual assistant. In the second half of 2022, we really were wanted to make sure that we're building out our agency service and business services capabilities so that agents could serve constituents, businesses, and agencies all on a single platform. And then in the second half, we also had our first foray into the package applications with the service request playbook. And just a little bit more context on the service request playbook. This is a package application designed to digitize and automate requests for 311 requests. So 311 requests are a type of non-emergency request. So, constituents might notice that in their community that there's a pothole on a street. They might notice that a street light is out, that there's an abandoned car on the road, and they need a way to notify their government of these issues and to see that these issues have been resolved. And so with the service request playbook, we provide an end-to-end experience that enables constituents to make these requests of their government, and it also enables government agents to process these requests and to notify constituents that these issues have been solved. So that was an exciting innovation that came at the latter half of 2022. And now let's move on into 2023 to see some of our more recent innovation. So we started off 2023 by providing some enhancements to the administrator experience. So with guidance setup, we make it even easier for administrators to configure public sector digital services. So with guidance setup, it's very clear what are the items that need to be configured, and then the administrator can double click and see what are the tasks that need to be completed to fully configure each item. This just makes it so that This process is really digestible for administrators. Next innovation I want to touch on is the agent mobile experience for the service request playbook. So we followed up the initial innovation with a mobile experience so that agents had the flexibility to resolve 311 service requests while on the go from their mobile device. And so they're able to get a quick overview of their caseload, see what are the active critical cases, see what are the new cases, and are able to take action. They can add comments to the case. They can move the case to the next stage. They can set up notifications. So just giving them greater flexibility in how they serve constituents. Now let's talk about Q2. So this is where we had our second packaged application, and we call this the information request playbook. And this is designed to digitize and automate requests for public records of information. And so for all of you who might not be as familiar with the space, public records could be press releases, they could be trial transcripts, settlements, depositions. The list honestly goes on and on. But governments across the globe have laws that require them to disclose public records upon request. And what our package application does is that it streamlines this process from end to end. So there's a nice constituent experience where constituents can make requests for public records on portal, and then there is a very powerful agent experience to guide government workers and help them address requests quickly and consistently. And you can see that here in this screenshot. So on the left-hand side, the government worker has all of the stages and activities of the playbook, so they know exactly what stage and step they're on in the process. There's also built-in business logic so that the government worker is always doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They can't skip a step. They have to go in the right order because of that built-in business logic. Um, and then on the right, you'll see that there's a contextual side panel, and this is where they can pull in information that's relevant to them. So they can pull in SLAs, open case tasks, record information, etc., as they're working through the case so that they can quickly process the information. So that is the information request playbook. And now I'm going to play a recording so that you can see this feature in action. Let's take a look at a demo of the information request playbook from the Q2 2023 Utah release of PSDS. This playbook makes it easy for governments to digitize and automate requests for public records of information. Derek Bird is a constituent in the country of Solana, and he is putting together a family tree and looking for more information on his grandmother, Danielle Davis. He clicks on Services to view a catalog of the services offered and then clicks on the FOIA tile. Derek goes on to populate the form with his information, a short description of the request, the details, the fees he's willing to pay, and attachments. If Derek needs to request on behalf of someone else, he has the option to do so from the form. So we see here he's just filling out the last remaining bits of the form, adding that attachment, and then from here he can go on to click Submit. From here, he sees that a unique request number has been generated. Now let's view the experience from the perspective of an information request constituent agent. Allie Henderson has opened Derek's case and views the information request playbook, which guides her through the entire process lifecycle. On the left, she can see the playbook stages and activities. In the center, Alice can view the current activity and complete the task at hand. On the right, she has access to the contextual side panel, which shows record information, related records, and more. Allie begins intake by reviewing the information submitted by the constituent and then moves to the next stage. In review, she first confirms submission of the required documents. She checks off that she has it and then can go on to the next step. Next, she reviews the list of exemptions to make sure this case does not fall into one of those categories. Since there are none, she selects the exemption checkbox at the bottom and then clicks Mark Complete. Next, she reviews similar close requests, which populate based on the short description and details provided by the requester. If there are similar requests, then the agent can link those requests to the case. So we'll see that in a moment. So yes, the requester links to the case and then unlinks it just because none apply in this situation. So she's going to note that here and then move on. Now she uses guided decisions to estimate fees. So she goes in, adds in her input, clicks next, and then it calculates. Once it's calculated, she can add it to the case. And from here, she can add in work notes and then request fee approval. Once the fee is approved internally, she sends the case for requester approval. Now let's return to Derek. From the portal, he reviews and approves the fee. Next, the agent records receipt of payment. Now she moves on to the next stage, process. At this step, she uses document management to find the information requested, upload it, and link it to the case. When she's finished creating and linking the document, then she's ready to move on to the next stage in the process. Her next step involves preparing for the legal review. While the legal team reviews the documents and makes any needed revisions, the agent can use this case task to communicate. Once legal reviews the documents and approves, then the final set of approvers reviews and decides whether to approve or reject. And now that the final approvals are in, the agent can release the information to the constituent. During the final step, Allison selects the appropriate resolution code and proposes a solution. Now let's return to Derek. Seeing that the information has been released, he accepts the solution. He is then presented with a short customer survey where he indicates how happy he is with the transparency and speed of the resolution. So this is how the Information Request Playbook enables governments to digitize and automate requests for public records of information. All right, yeah, that's it, the Information Request Playbook. So now let's talk about what's new in Vancouver, why we're all here today. Um, so in Q3, we had an exciting set of new capabilities come out. Um, the first, all kind of related to agencies and agency services. So first up is the agency services portal. And this is a one-stop shop uh, for agency staff. So from the agency services portal, they can see such critical information such as all of the cases that they've requested. They can see the businesses that are associated with the agency, the constituents, the household, the items received. They're also able to take action. So they can submit cases, they again on behalf of the agency. They can submit cases against items that they've received. They can onboard staff from the portal. So there's a lot that they can do from this portal. And in addition, this experience makes it really easy to support walk-ins in addition to other types of channels. So because they have all this rich contextual information from this portal, if a constituent walks in, they can easily see if that constituent is associated with the agency. They can easily see if that constituent's request lines up with the services that the agency provides. So that is the agency services portal. Next, we have agency services offered. So this enables us to list the services offered by particular government agencies. And so previously, one was only able to associate services at the government customer level, but now we can associate it to each particular agency. And this is great because it reduces case rework as more requests are being funneled to the right agency that can actually resolve the issue. So that's a really important benefit. And additionally, it just empowers agents with more information. So an agent can clearly see the services that are offered by their particular agency, but they can also see the services offered by other agencies. And so when they're engaging with constituents, they're better able to direct them and highlight which agency offers what service. So that is the agency services offered capability. And then last from Q3, we have agency associated customers. So this enables our customers to list and track the customers of a particular government agency. So this wasn't available previously. It was just customers who are associated at the government customer level. But this really empowers agents by enabling them to really understand their customer base and be more proactive in their service now that they know who are those constituents that are associated with their particular agency. It also provides for data security. So agency staff is only seeing the constituents that are associated with their particular agency. They're not seeing the constituents related to agency B, C, D, and F. And this just makes sure that they're only seeing the information that they should. And that just really makes sure that we're elevating the customer experience while also at the same time protecting data. So now let's move on to Q4 of Vancouver. And this is an innovation I'm personally very excited about. It is the license and permit playbook. And this is a broad spectrum application designed to address a wide array of license and permit use cases, all with the goal of simplifying and modernizing the delivery of licenses and permits. And we know that licensing and permits really touches so many areas of life. Most of us, at some point in our own journeys, have needed to get a license and permit. And what our package application does is that it, again, digitizes and streamlines this process from end to end. So there is a constituent experience that we've made so that it's really easy for constituents to track the status of licenses and permits and apply. So we have an out-of-the-box e-signature widget that we've created, an out-of-the-box fee summary card to deliver constituent experiences. At the same time, we've built out a powerful agent experience so that governments have a guided experience while they're addressing license and permit use cases. And this is actually in the screenshot, we're seeing our new process-based experience layout in the workspace. So again, all in the service of guiding the government agents. So up top, there are chevrons, which show the 4 stages of that the agent needs to go through. And then the stage that they're currently on is highlighted so they know exactly what stage they're in. And then on the left, you'll see the activities, and that's like a double click down into the process to see exactly what step they're on. So they can see the previous steps that they've already completed, what step they're currently on, and what's ahead. This just really helps to orient them and make sure that they're delivering consistent service. Below that, we have critical information that the agent always wants to have available and at their fingertips. So that could be constituent information. It could be things like license and permits that the constituent has already received. They have their main workspace where they'll do their work. And on the right-hand side, they have the contextual side panel where they can pull in information as needed. So just a very powerful experience for agents to do their work and do it well. And now we're going to see this feature in action.
Derek, a constituent in the state of Solana, is looking to start his career as a fisherman. To achieve this goal, he will first need to secure a commercial fishing license from his state government. To get started, Derek selects Services to access the service catalog. Then Derek navigates to Licenses and selects Request License. Derek first sees an eligibility checklist. This is made possible through order guides, a capability that helps consumers select the right product. Once Derek confirms his eligibility, he can proceed to the next step, filling out the form. Given that he is a registered user, much of his personal information is pre-populated. Derek goes on to specify the desired permit type by selecting his preferred option using the drop-down menus. Next, Derek selects permit endorsements so that he can customize his permit to fit his specific needs. Since he would like to harvest sea herring and striped bass, he marks the corresponding boxes. As you can see, these selections result in changes to the pricing total. All of this is made possible by an out-of-the-box pricing widget designed specifically for license and permit requests. Next, Derek reviews the affidavits. He tests that he understands and then proceeds to sign his name using the out-of-the-box e-signature widget, and then goes on to upload his ID and complete the form. Once a submission goes through, a status page appears with a unique request number. From here, Derek can track the progress of the case and leave comments. Now let's take a look at the agent experience. Alma is a licensed and permit constituent agent in the state of Solana. From the configurable workspace, she clicks on the newly created case to get started. Upon opening the case, the agent sees a nice, modern playbook experience with the latest process-based experience layout. Up top, the agent can view the playbook stages and activities. On the left, the agent can view the current stages activities and view critical information such as constituent information. On the right, the agent has access to the contextual side panel. Since the constituent completed many of the intake activities on the portal, the playbook has advanced to review request. Now the agent reviews the application information and proceeds to the next step. Now the agent sets up a consultation with the constituent. Using work notes, the agent suggests a few potential dates and times. She clicks Request Consultation and then awaits a response from the constituent. From the portal, the constituent receives a notification. He selects it to learn more. Derek now sees that an action is requested of him. So he goes down to the activity stream to indicate his preferred date and time. Once he's done that, he selects Approve. Upon receiving the constituent's approval, the case agent proceeds to the next activity, Process Payment. Here, the agent documents that payment has been received via a third-party system and then moves to review. The first activity in review is Verify Supporting Documentation. Alma clicks the attachment icon within the contextual side panel to view Tony's state identification. Next, she opens up the attachment to get a better look. Once she has reviewed, she records receipt and then updates her work notes. From here, she moves on to the next activity. The next step is Verify Credentials. Alma can use this activity to view credentials such as exam scores, course transcripts that may have been provided by third-party institutions. Now, she can move on to request an inspection. This activity is Initiate and Perform Inspection. Here, Alma updates the work notes with instructions for the inspector. This next activity is Record Findings. Following the inspection, Alma updates the case with any results. Once this is complete, she moves on to Process, the next stage in the playbook. During the Assess Application activity, the agent reviews the submitted information along with the case updates to determine whether another inspection is needed. In this instance, she goes ahead and skips the inspection. In the Propose Decision activity, the agent proposes an initial application decision based on the information gathered. In this instance, Alma recommends approving the application and sends this up the chain for a round of review. A colleague has reviewed the proposed decision and approved. Here, in the Confirm Proposal activity, Alma has an opportunity to revise the proposed decision based on feedback. She then sends it out for another round of review. Once all the approvals are in, the agent can go ahead and generate the license. Upon clicking Generate the License, a record for the license is automatically created. Now that the license has been created, the agent is ready to send an electronic version to the constituent. She uses the work notes to capture work done and then moves to the next activity. In this activity, the agent mails out the license to the constituent. Now it's time for the agent to wrap up the case. She selects the appropriate resolution code, writes out a resolution note, and then proposes solution. Now Derek, the constituent, selects the notification from the portal. Upon selecting, he sees that the case has been resolved and the license approved. From here, he can go ahead and accept the solution. This is how the License and Permit Playbook from the Q4 Vancouver store release simplifies and modernizes the delivery of licenses and permits.
There you have it, the License and Permit Playbook. And with that, we can wrap up. So just wanted to leave you with some next steps. First, I encourage you to download the PSDS store apps. So the License and Permit Playbook, the Service Request Playbook, the Information Requests Playbook, PSDS Core, and start playing around with it, get used to it, see what's there. And beyond that, I also have some other things I'd love you to check out. So we have another live on ServiceNow webinar called Getting Started with Public Sector Digital Services. And this really goes deep on the foundational capabilities that we offer to enable governments to serve constituents, businesses, and agencies on a single platform. So that's on YouTube, on our PSDS playlist. It's also in the ServiceNow community, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. We also have an extension framework on the Partner Success Center, and this provides implementation best practices to build new applications of public sector digital services. It's about a 100-page document. It's quite robust, so definitely a lot of great information. So I definitely encourage you to check this out. I also really want to highlight the license and permit reference architecture that's going to be coming soon to both the Partner Success Center and Now Create. This will provide a lot of great guidance on how to leverage the base license and permit playbook and build out the product model, the eligibility, the workflow, the customer experience. So there's a lot of rich information to guide you on how to use the license and permit playbook. So definitely encourage you to be on the lookout for that because that will provide really great information. And then, of course, there's the PSDS Now Learning Training and our Now Create assets that I always encourage folks to check out. Well, if that is all of the questions, then I think maybe we can wrap up a bit early. Thank you guys all for sharing your morning with us.